Well, I'm Amanda Divito Parle, and welcome to At the Kitchen Table, an entrepreneurs podcast where we guide, inspire, and connect people at the kitchen table, sort of born of the work that you and I do at people's kitchen tables in this business. And so I'd like to welcome Kelly Moye with Compass Real Estate, and a good friend of mine and a masterminds pal. And so welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I wanted to bring you, I don't know why I wanted to bring you, mostly except that you're the most expert lead generator prospector I've ever met.
Well, I think that's the whole job. So
that's pretty much the whole job. Yeah, I think you're very good at that. And then we've been friends a long time. Mm-hmm. You can tell me about your path from 25 years with Remax and then your transition to Compass and how that's grown you in your business. And so just back up and start from the beginning. Like, where'd you grow up? How'd you come into this path? And tell me a little bit about your backstory.
I was born into a family where my parents divorced when I was pretty young. And my mom was forced to go into real estate because it was the only way she could provide for us. And so I grew up with a single mom in real estate. We had the funniest thing, we had 3 different phones on the wall back when you had the long rope,
cord.
The cord that went, and they were different colors, which was super funny because one was meant to be mom's personal phone, mom's business phone, and kids' phone. The funny thing is though you could never tell which color was ringing because they all sounded the same. So the fact that we made them different colors wasn't very smart. But the point
maybe
is,
just when she was wrapped around the kitchen, you knew she was on a business call. If she was on like a blue line or whatever.
Right, the white line was ours. So the funny thing is because you could never tell which one was the business line, you were forced to answer all of them in the way that she expected a business call would be answered. Hello, this is Kelly Moye speaking. How can I help you?
Right.
From when I was 7 years old. So I kind of learned how to do this real estate thing from my mom growing up watching her. When she wanted to deliver Bronco keychains to everyone in her farm, I was the one on the back of the station wagon running up to every door, dropping off the keychains, so we were her assistants.
Yeah.
So I did things for fun, like when I was a teenager feeling rebellious, I would take all of her for sale signs and put them all over the neighborhood in random people's houses that were not for sale, just to see what would happen. Or when I was little, I did appraisals of all my neighbors' houses. Instead of like drawing pictures of butterflies with my girlfriends, I would do full-on appraisals. And so I think I just learned that from my mom, and I always knew that real estate was something I'd want to get into. But when I went to college, I was determined to become a lawyer, a real estate lawyer, and graduated, got into law school, and spent the summer interning at a tax law firm, which I almost fell asleep every day. It was so boring.
They had you like shredding paper.
I was like filing paper. It was just awful. And I got about the week before starting law school, and my dad, who's a lawyer, called me. And he said, I think this is a mistake. Now, if anyone knows my dad, they would know he was a very successful, famous lawyer, but he also was so supportive of everything I did. I mean, I bought and sold houses with boyfriends, made big mistakes all over the place without him saying a word. Totally supportive. Anything I want to do, anything I want to try. So when he called me and said, I think this is a mistake. I don't think you should be a lawyer. I thought, this is really odd. He's always very supportive. He said, the thing that dads say, which is, you'll do anything you put your mind to. I'm sure of that, but I don't think you'll be happy. He said, I think you need to be in some kind of customer service industry, not in a conflict kind of industry. And going into law in 1991, tended to be an industry that was fairly negative, and you got to be kind of hard, especially as a woman, and to fight your way through it. And he said, I think you're going to be miserable. And I thought, that's the first time he's ever given me advice. So I should take it.
Yeah.
And so I dropped out of law school and literally the next day got my real estate license. So.
Your mom maybe thought inherently that it was in you and that maybe you'd come to it, or she didn't care whether you got in the business or not, or never asked you to be in the business. You just fell into it.
Never asked. And neither one of my parents gave me much direction. whether that's good or bad. But they really let me figure out what I wanted to do on my own. So when I said I was going to real estate, I think she was surprised.
Yeah. Did you ever work actually with her, or did you go into real estate independently of her, or did she train you in the business in the way that we grow up in it and it's like, it's a lifestyle?
No, I wanted to be totally separate.
Yeah.
So I went to school in Boulder, and I grew up in South Denver. So I purposely decided to stay in Boulder and start real estate there so that I wouldn't compete with her.
Sure.
Because I knew I wouldn't want to compete with her, and I knew I didn't want to join her.
Yeah.
It was best to just I was 21, you don't really you want to do things on your own when you're 21.
Yeah.
Now, had I been 35, I might have been smart enough to know I should go work for my mom and let her teach me. But you're not smart at 21. So I just thought, I'm going to do this on my own. And so I purposely started in a different market so that we would not be overlapping in any way.
Yeah.
So she really did not train me, but over the years gave me very, very good advice as my career, went on.
Yeah. You have this self-sufficiency vibe to you, like you are going to do it the way you know how, the way you do. Yeah. You struck me, our whole friendship, as just somebody who is internally driven beyond most people that I know. I know this of you because of your fitness background. And so I wonder, was that ever something you thought maybe professionally would show up for you? And then, or was it just that was a way to just burn steam, and then the real estate business? Talk about your fitness background and how that has benefited your real estate business or your life in general.
Yeah, I got into teaching group fitness when I was like 14. And I was working. I always had jobs. I had jobs starting when I was 12 years old. First job that I had was I worked at Cherry Hills as a caddy. And we all had to show up at 5 a.m. and it was me and 50 boys. And you would sit and wait for someone to come in, take a round with you. And if you didn't get a round that day, which you get paid $10 for, a round of 18 holes, then you would just go home and you'd try again the next day. And I remember being out there for many weeks, and no one's going to pick the literally 12-year-old girl. No one picked me, but I kept coming back every day. And the caddy master said, "Hey, Kelly, I don't think you should come back anymore. I mean, this is just a waste of your summer. Like, this is a waste of your time." And there was this little fire that just lit under me. And I was like,
don't tell me no.
Oh, watch me. I said, and I looked at him and I said, well, if I don't come back, how am I going to get any rounds? Like, that doesn't make logical sense to me. Of course I need to come back. And he was like, it was your call, but I really think you should stay at home, So I came back the next day, and within a couple of days, Fred Provost, I'll never forget his name, this really nice old guy picked me, and not only picked me for the day, but picked me for the rest of the summer. So I got a regular round, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is what all the boys wanted, the regular round. So you didn't have to come every day. You just would come when you
show up when Fred was coming.
Yeah, and I was like, see, that's what you get when you stay the course and you stay with what your plan was and you don't give up. So I think little things like that happened over my life that taught me that you get what you want if you just work a little bit harder than everybody else.
Yeah, proof.
And you have proof. You realize that that's actually how it works. And I do think that watching my mom be a single mom, and then she got remarried several times, but I realized that I need to always only rely on me. And that may or may not be a great lesson. I mean, that may prove to be a good thing or a bad thing for me in my life, to not ever rely on someone else. But to answer the question honestly, I think my drive comes from this desire to be totally self-sufficient.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter who I'm married to or who's in my life, or I will always be able to take care of myself. And I can always work just a little harder than everyone else and get what I need.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that I've interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs up to this point, and the consistent theme over and over and over again is that people just outwork the competition. They outwork the competition, and they do the same things consistently, more consistently than the competition.
Right.
And this is something that stuck with me early in our friendship, was that you would prospect, you still probably do,
every
for
day.
2 hours every day. Talk about the discipline, and what is it exactly that you do to reach your customers, and how do you keep organized on all that? Like, I'm curious about this, like the discipline it takes to prospect for 2 hours every day.
Yeah. I mean, I have a contact, management program that has all of my clients and Sphere and everyone I've ever met in it. And everybody is organized in a way where there is an action plan for every single person. Mm-hmm. So if I sold a house last year to Joe Smith, he has an action plan that I'm checking in with him in 6 months. In 12 months, I'm sending him a note. I'm bringing over a Christmas gift. I have a total plan for Jim, for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I also keep very specific notes about his family and what's going on in his life. And when we talk, we don't necessarily talk about real estate. Mm-hmm. We talk about his new job or his kid who's going off to college. And I keep very, very detailed notes about that so that I can go back in 6 months and call him and say, hey, how's Melissa? How was her first year at TCU? Right. How did it go? So that is the developing of a relationship. And that's the reason why I spend so long each day doing those things, is keeping those relationships, because that, I think, is the key to longevity in real estate, is having those relationships. So those people just call you eventually and say, I want to move, and my kids want to move, and my cousin wants to move. And I think that's the way you get into an all referral kind of business, is by spending some real energy on those relationships.
Did the advent of social media change the perception of the depth of the relationship you had with these people, or did they know that in fact you continued to keep calling and asking questions in spite of what you saw on the internet?
Yeah.
I wonder.
That's a great question. Not for me. Social media has not been a huge thing for me. I do follow my clients, and if I see that something's happened in their life, I will absolutely reach out, pick up the phone and say, oh my gosh, I saw you got a dog, or whatever. So that it has helped in terms of keeping in touch, but it's not something I rely on.
Can you think of another industry who dotes on their clients quite like realtors do? Do you have anybody else? I was thinking about this recently, like, how many vendors do you have come into your house, sit down with you to sell you something quite the way real estate agents do?
Right.
Are there other industries that do this?
I can't think of one.
I know.
It should be insurance. It should be the lady who sells you blinds. It should be a cleaning service. Can you think of if someone, the person who hung up your, I'm going to say, like, your retractable awning that you bought last year. What if they called you every year and said, Amanda, how's the awning working out? Are you loving it? Are you loving the shade? Do you have any neighbors who might want an awning? They don't do that.
Yes, you would be selling awnings for them.
You'd be literally the most successful awning company ever if you just made a couple calls.
So true.
But nobody does that.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, it's so interesting. The only experience I had that even got close to this was that during COVID, we bought a closet system. Mm. And the woman insisted to come to the house because she needed measurements.
Right.
And she asked to sit at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And we let her give her pitch. And I could get a closet system for cheaper from Costco, but I hired this woman because she came to the table.
Love it. Yeah.
And it's the only industry that I can remember somebody coming into my house in a sincere way to build rapport, to follow up. But actually, I have 5 more closet systems that I need done in my house, and she's never called back.
Oh, interesting. See, if she had just called and said, how's your closet working out?
She could have said, can I come organize your garage? Can I tackle your co-closet? Could I do your pantry?
You would have said yes,
I would have brought her back to do it, and I never heard from her again.
Well, that's why I think there, when you ask, how do you stay so disciplined? And it's 7 days a week. I don't take Sunday off or anything.
And I want to ask you about that, because real estate's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And it's, I prospect every single day. I think there's a fear, to really answer honestly, an underlying fear that if I don't, it will shrivel up.
Sure.
If I don't, then I won't sell any houses on my own. I've every once in a while I've thought, I wonder what would happen if I just stopped calling everybody. Would my business
people
shrink
would think
by,
you're dead.
By
They'd
half?
be like, something happened to that Kelly Moye. She quit calling me.
I know. It's like, would I sell half the number of houses? Would I sell any houses? How would it go? And I'm not willing to find out. And so I think it's the underlying fear that you will literally get out of the business because you basically stopped working on the business.
Oh, sure.
That keeps me doing that every day.
Well, that's right. My dad has been making those birthday phone calls for his whole career, and his license was about to expire. And I said, well, you'll know that you'll want to retire when you stop making your birthday phone calls.
Right.
And he says, well, I'm never going to stop making my birthday phone calls.
I love it.
And so in some ways, maybe it is in fact that you think the phone will quit ringing if you don't make the calls, but maybe it is in fact that you like these people,
the calls.
and you like making the calls, and you like knowing what's going on in their lives,
and I like connecting with them.
And so maybe you can talk yourself out of the fear part of it and just say, in fact, I actually enjoy these people, and I like knowing about their life, and now I'm doing it for fun.
Right.
That's actually
a good point.
That's the game of this business too. Is that people always say, well, if you're working at something that you love, it won't feel like work or whatever.
Right.
And so I do think that sometimes just convincing yourself that I do parts of the business I do with consistency, I do them because I enjoy them.
Right.
Because at this stage of your career, there's plenty of things you could give up and not do. You don't have to put another Bronco keychain on another front porch ever again.
Right.
And so you won't do that if you don't like doing them.
Exactly. You're going to do what you like. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right. Well, and I think that that's a lot of it too, is when you get 34 years in the business, you also choose to work with the people that you want to work with and refer out those that you don't, because I want to have fun making those calls.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's important to sort of choose the kind of people that you want in your life. And that includes your work life for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting too. The business is a trick sometimes, because the people you think you want to work with sometimes turn out to be really difficult.
Right.
And the people you don't think you want to work with sometimes turn out to be an absolute delight.
Right. And a real gift.
Mm-hmm. And so I always feel like that's sort of the trick or the trap to the business, is like, I'm not sure I'm good enough at discerning which one of these is going to turn out to be a delight. And what if they turn out to be a delight and I've given them away or whatever, or I've not serviced the business, or I didn't show up the way they needed me to.
Sure.
And so I always, that's the thing that kind of keeps me coming back, is this little trap that's like, those people are going to be a gift to you.
Yeah, you
and
never
so
know.
then you see everybody as a gift in your life, and you begin to have real gratitude for all the clients, no matter the price point.
Right.
You just don't know who's going to be a delight to do business with, or who's going to. Life is a surprising thing, right? Like, you've been to Italy 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. And
you too now.
Yeah, well, just twice.
Twice,
but so sometimes people show up in your life just at the exact time you need them. Mm-hmm. And so you just never know. Like, this is what I always look forward to. There's this little hiding twinkle behind every relationship, which is that person going to have been to Italy and will know the thing to tell me about this trip? And so then I just see the good in all of that in the business, I think.
Well, and I think that's why the prospecting is so important, because all you're doing is making and keeping connections. And it's the connections that fulfill your life. I mean, think of all the people where you were showing houses one day and you just, while you were walking up to the front door, casually started talking about something that you went, oh my gosh, I could really use that. I would love the name of that guy. Text me the name of that guy. I could, whatever it was. And all this, that person gave you value too.
That's right.
I mean, without those connections, your life, it won't be as full.
It's interesting. We were just talking about sort of different personality types and people who are sort of wired in a specific way. Certainly people who like connection and like to surround themselves with other people tend to be successful in real estate. But do you think anybody can be successful in this business? Or do you think it takes...
That's a good question.
And I want to ask you about the lifestyle that is real estate, because I think those are linked together, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it take to really be successful?
I don't think that anybody can be successful in real estate. I think that everybody has their own gifts, and that real estate requires certain gifts. And I think that other jobs require other things.
What is the gift of what are the 3 gifts of real estate?
I think it's the ability and desire to be truly connected to other people. Mm-hmm. So if you are inherently an introvert or really just love data but don't love talking to people, I'm not saying you can't be a decent realtor, but it's probably not going to be your jam. It's probably not going to be a very successful career, and maybe not make you very happy.
If you're constantly trying to run away from the people.
Yes, I mean, you need to run to the people.
Towards them.
I think, in this particular job. Mm-hmm. I also think you need to have this crazy work ethic, which I don't even necessarily think is healthy, but I really think you got to have it, where you're willing to work 24/7, or I should say, willing to work when you need to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's at very inopportune times, and you need to be able to be like, this is my job, this is how I do it. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to do that, or you're a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 person, this isn't this isn't your job.
I saw a meme online the other day, and it was this woman floating in a raft on a pool. And it says, what your clients think realtors do on vacation.
Oh, sure.
And then the next scene was a real estate agent pacing around the pool on the phone.
On the phone, right. With
or
the laptop
sitting
in the shade.
under a awning on the phone, having a deep conversation while her family was like across the pool or whatever.
Yep.
And so it is, in fact, a lifestyle where you get to get away, but you never really get to get away.
Right. And you need to be okay with that. It needs to
and
not
your spouse
wreck
has
your
to be
soul.
okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't wreck your soul, then it'll work out.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah, but if it wrecks your soul,
do you
it's
think
not gonna
there's
be okay.
any, does this business have a glimmer of hope to not be a soul-wrecking industry? Is it possible for this business to ever?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's why. I think that what we are helping people do is not only probably their biggest investment and biggest deal that's happening in their lives at the time, but it is so emotional for them and it is so stressful for them that we need to be there to help them through all those phases. And those things don't happen between 9 and 5 in the day. So you need to be there for the 10 o'clock phone call of, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out over the inspection or whatever it is. So I don't know what kind of tools could be introduced into our industry that would change that. Because you're dealing with people who are getting married, divorced, super sad they're leaving because of a job, they're leaving to take care of a parent. These are really big things, and those things don't happen in regular work hour times. So I don't know how it will ever change. It hasn't from the 70s when I saw my mom, and it's been a long time.
I have a philosophy that there is no tenure in this business. You know, that there is no earned position in real estate. Yeah. That, you know, if a new agent is willing to go hustle an open house on a Saturday afternoon, in fact, Kelly Moye might have to go hustle an open house on a Saturday afternoon. Right.
Yeah, my mom always said the deal is you can be as big as you think you are, but on January 1, we all start at 0. And she said, and that's the thing, like January 1, everybody's on the same playing field again.
That's right.
And you start again and you're going for that top producer of the office or whatever thing. And everyone starts at 0 and it's whoever hustles faster. And it doesn't matter whether you've been in business 1 year or 20. You all start at 0 on January 1st.
Have you done things to protect your living along the way? Have you bought real estate? Did you invest in things? Like, what were the things that you did to sort of hedge against either changes in the market or just burnout or retirement? Like, what were the things that you did to sort of hedge your future in this?
I started investing really early. I was lucky enough to be married to an investment banker, my first marriage. And so he was really helpful in teaching me how to do that. And I would just kind of I remember I would make money and just hand him the checks. And he would invest and do what he was doing. And I remember one day I came home and I said, I feel like I don't know where my money, like where did that check go? What is that? He said, well, let me sit down, let me teach you. So he showed me how we were investing and how we put money away for the kids' college and stuff. And so I learned a lot from him. He was very smart about finances. So I feel very grateful for that. So that when we divorced, I feel like I knew what I was doing. And I continued to invest in the market, but then since then have also bought 4 rental properties, made some money on some, lost on others, bought a house in Texas, realized that was a bad idea. I made a little money on it, but learned about taxes in Texas and the way so I'm learning, as I go. So now all my rental properties are all right here. They're all within a mile of my home. I'm kind of learning what works for me.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes just invest in what you know
Invest in what you know. Yeah. And I've learned that. I've made a couple of mistakes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty diversified between the market, and real estate, so that should one tank or the other. And I have no intention of ever retaring.
Right. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. It's not, it makes me so happy. I don't even know what I would do I would be miserable. So at least for right now, that is not on the radar.
The business you have allows you to travel, which you like to do.
Yeah.
And so as long as you can keep doing the things that fill your cup, including sell houses, then you might as well keep doing them.
Change it. Yeah. Exactly. And I love teaching class, and I always want to be able to do that. And I will always carve out time in my day, every day, for working out.
Yeah.
And so that's a gift, that I do have money set aside where I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to work constantly all day and I don't get any time for myself. I carve out time for myself.
Yeah. Any regrets in the business? Things you wished you hadn't done or learned earlier? Things that you regret?
Yeah, it's such a good question. That's a great question because somebody asked me that in a interview a couple years ago, and I really thought about it, and I really was like, I don't think so. Like I love the path that I've taken. I'm really happy with that. And later, my husband, who used to be a realtor and an owner at RE/MAX, kind of was like, geez, Kelly, like everybody has something that they wish they could have improved on, worked on, you regretted that you didn't do. And I thought, I really can't think of one. But I will say that when I really thought about it, I actually think my education was lacking for what I need in this business. So I majored in communications at CU. That's great. But it didn't, what I really needed was to go to business school. So if you're going to run a business, you need to know how to make a profit and loss statement, and you need to know how to figure out your return on your investments. You can't, I've had to learn this as I go, with Jonathan, first husband's help, Mark, second husband's help. That's been helpful. But boy, probably made some mistakes as it relates to running my business because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
So kind of wish that I had either gone to business school when I realized I was going into real estate, then just gone and taken some classes.
Sure.
Didn't have to go get a degree in it, but at least some basic business classes would have helped me a lot. So that would have eased some things in the first few years for sure. Yeah.
It's interesting. I sort of started this Entrepreneurs podcast on accident-ish, but I recently interviewed somebody who'd gone to actual college for an entrepreneurship degree.
Oh, neat.
And I'm telling you, I wished I had known that at 17 or whatever, that you could go to school to become an entrepreneur. Right. But I don't, like your mom and dad, sort of, they were letting you set your path. But in a way, like if you see in a young person this burning entrepreneurial spirit,
right?
No counselor at high school was like, did you know?
Right, you could do this.
You can do this
right.
for a living.
Right.
And
well, you could now get a degree in real estate. Before we didn't have those either.
Yeah.
At CU, they have it now. But yeah, I wish that I had had a little better education to support this business.
Yeah, that's probably good. My dad was really good at this. He kept saying, it's easy to get a real estate license. Any housewife in West Arvada can become a realtor.
Sure.
But you have to continue to do the continuing education to differentiate yourself from the masses of people. Everybody knows 3 to 5 agents.
Right.
So internally, I was doing, a luxury home specialist and the certified residential specialist and the GRI, and I was getting these little designations along the way. I must have learned a thing or two in those classes, but I was doing it because somebody told me I had to, not because I just didn't know. My dad was like, you have to go take these designation classes, and I was like, well, okay.
Right. I did the same. I did GRI and CRS because it was like, that's just what you do.
Yeah. And so I actually still think that's a good hack in this business because I see a lot of agents who are actually quite good.
Yeah.
But they have no alphabet soup behind their name. They have no credentials.
Right.
And I often think to myself, boy, if you could just add a few letters of alphabet soup behind your name, the public doesn't need to know that the ABR class is relatively easy to obtain, that you only have had to work as a buyer's agent 5 times to obtain it. It's easy to get.
Sure.
And I do feel like I wish more people in the industry would continue to do that continuing education a little bit more.
Right.
So my plea to the local realtors is, go do these classes, become more educated. For the same reason you have some regrets about not doing it.
Yeah, I think it would really have been helpful.
Well, and I think now, like, you could go on YouTube and look up, real estate business classes.
Absolutely.
And you could go take one online for free, essentially.
Absolutely.
There's like campus recording classes or PhD level classes that I think you can find online.
Sure.
If you really wanted to know more about this. And so
I
do think that insatiable desire to learn.
Yeah. And when you're new, you've got time to do that. Like right now, it would be really hard for me to set a time aside to take a college class. But boy, when you first start and you're not showing any buyers and you have half a day each day where you could probably go to class. And so I just think people who are starting out, that if they didn't get that degree because they thought they were going to be a psychologist and they ended up not, or whatever, they could easily spend the first year of their real estate career and get educated on how to run a business. Because in essence, that's what we're doing, of course.
You've had a team around you pretty much your whole career.
Yeah.
What is some of the best pieces of advice you give people that you've trained in this business, and how do you keep them motivated? How have you influenced them?
Yeah, it's funny. I've taken a little bit of an approach, kind of like my parents did with me, which is here, I'm going to give you all the tools you need, and we're just going to see if you can fly. And I'm not going to help too much because I kind of want to see where you go with it.
Yeah.
But I have rarely worked with brand new agents. I almost always bring people on my team that have some experience, and I teach them all of my systems and my prospecting methods and everything I do. And I figure if they want to learn it and take it and run with it, they will. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah. If it's meant to be, it's up to me.
Right, right. But I do have an agent on my team right now who is new. And we just liked him so much that we broke our own rule of not taking him under our wing. And
you get to kind of groom them, though, the way they don't have any other bad habits either.
Right. And you just came in like this fresh little baby, like here.
Baby birds, we call them. Yeah.
Yes, little baby bird. And he takes everything I do and everything that I say and everything I ask him to do, he's on it. And he reads all the articles I send him, and he writes notes, and he sends me back questions, and he's just on it, and he's prospecting and doing everything that we're teaching him. But it's this year is hard. This is a hard market to be a brand new agent, and he's doing well, but he's struggling like we all did the first year. And so Paul and I, my other partner, we really do try to do a good job of showing him that he's doing all the right things and giving him encouragement that. You just hang in there. You keep doing your 2 open houses every weekend. You keep doing this. You keep doing that. And hopefully he will stick. But I'll tell you, I don't know, this might sound mean, but I just said, we're not taking team pictures. You're not going on the website. You're not getting your own for sale signs until you've been here for a year.
Yeah.
Because 85% of you will go. And I'm not going to put you all over the website and make our whole big team and then have to take you off the website. I'm not doing that. So you have to earn your space on my team. So right now, if you look at my website, he's not there. None of our pictures have him in it. And I feel kind of bad sometimes, but I made it really clear at the beginning, like, you got to make it a year to earn your spot, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, and you and I have been at this long enough to know that people do come and go, and they come and go for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they come because they aren't a fit. Sometimes they come and go because they grow out of the role that you had available for them.
Right.
Agents get what I call big britches syndrome. My friend James taught me this. BBS is what he calls it. Yeah. And so sometimes your baby bird grows into a hawk and they have to fly because they got too big for your team. And so there's a variety of reasons why people come and go. But the picture game in real estate is really obnoxious. Like, take a new picture, new headshots, new headshots. It's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
You got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself before you get in my team shot. So.
And so sometimes I see people who have like caricatures for their team pictures. And I'm like, well, that's easier. Just draw them in.
Just draw them in.
Yeah, that's right. I love it. Go get my hair done to get a new picture or whatever.
Love it. Right.
But no, it's funny. So, I wonder, you've been so consistent, and what I heard you say is like, I'm happy to just ride this really lovely business gift of real estate right to the end.
Right.
But how do you stay motivated to set the next thing, and like, what's next for you? How do you keep this drive up without wanting to like drive a different direction, you know, from time to time?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I do think, again, I think it's a bit of the fear of it shriveling up. And I think we're all a product of how we were raised. And I was raised, my dad was a very generous man, but he believed in really, really hard work, and he grew up very, very poor.
Yeah.
And I saw that. And then my mom was a single mom and had to really fight for every penny that she's ever had, and to this day. I just want to be secure. And that's where I get that from, how I was raised. And the only way for me to be secure is for me to make my own money and do my own thing. So I have found that when I start feeling a little twitchy about wanting to try something new, it's been a long time, I don't do it in real estate. Real estate's my safety. Real estate's my
Like your straight line.
It's the net, it's the path that I'm on. Instead, I'll do it in something else, like the group fitness stuff. So I just finished teaching a class, a step class that I've taught for 30 years to the same group of people for 30 years. I mean, it's like every Tuesday, Thursday for 30 years. And I finally woke up one day and said, I want to do something else. And just left that class like a month ago, which was actually super hard for me because it was such a community that I loved. But now I hired a trainer and I'm trying all these different classes and I'm traveling all over the state and trying different things. And so I've decided for variety, I'm doing it in other aspects of my life.
I see.
But the real estate is a constant.
Yeah. Kelly Moye from Compass, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I love talking to you.
I love talking to you.
We could talk to each other all day long.
I know. So we should just keep doing that.
I know.